to another episode of White Details. This week I'm on my own on a Bentley Brooklands, which is 2009, 21,000 miles, and it's booked for the white detail. The vehicle's going to be here for the next probably 9 or 10 days. I've got a week and a half on this. I'm going to get on with the wash footage now, but I'll see you back inside for the paint inspection after the decontamination.
This is very clean in the contamination department.
Past 3. Okay, Wednesday, 3. Even if this was a job for the two of us, this is a mammoth job. This is the worst in a long time, to be honest. And it's interesting as well that a few people, including myself, initially from seeing the car, this looks like a nice, clean example. It's hard to sort of see the true, it looks fantastic. It's hard to see the true condition until it's here, under the lights, clean, stripped back, blown dry. And you've just seen me use an IPA, isopropyl alcohol, to inspect the paint, ready to get rid of the smudges, any smears, strip off anything previous. Are you ready to see the damage? Right, so it was identified at the time of drop off that a few areas may have been painted. There on the edge of the bonnet, you can see there's a score, there's a pads chafed along the edge. All along the perimeter of the wing, you see the dull edges. These are sander marked from a disc, which also runs up the side here. So when the bonnet's been flatted, it's been flatted whilst it's been flush. So it's been overlapping onto the wing. There are a few examples of that, to be honest. In the centre of the bonnet, sander marks, pigtails, clusters of sander marks in the corner of the bonnet there, unfinished in the polishing stage. Good God. Right. Here, sander marks, overlapped from prepping the bonnet. It doesn't matter if it's a Bentley, a Bugatti, or a Peugeot, or a Fiat, or a Renault, or a BMW, or a Mercedes. Body shops just very rarely deliver. Associated buffer trails and swirls from the mopping on this panel. Haven't yet determined what actually has been painted. There's some bad blend marks up on the roof. A lot of the car actually has been painted now. When I spoke to my customer, it was a case of, do you want to know if we come across anything on the car? Because it can sort of tarnish the relationship with the owner and the vehicle knowing it's had X amount of paint. But that said, I wouldn't be able to document this video without pointing out the reworked areas from body shop doings. Sander marks. In most of the channels, the concave sections that run, it's dull in all of these slots. And there's swage lines all the way down the back of the car. On the very edge of the wing, scratches around the door handle there, driver's side. In the middle of the driver's door, big clusters of sander marks again. It's had a fair bit of rework, this. There's an odd series here. Sander marks of some, yeah. Already it's clear to see that actually, although I've got a lot on my plate to tackle, even if this was an open checkbook and let's say a 2-week booking, this vehicle would never be perfect. Now the word perfect is pretty strict around here. People would say this vehicle is mint already. As we can see, that's far from the case. Big scratch there on the bumper. A few more deeper ones in the corner there. A series of bad masking lines around the light clusters, unfortunately, both sides. It's pretty rough around the bottom of that. Nice cluster of overspray. Lacquer overspray there. Deeper scratch here on the corner of the boot lid. You don't need the special light for the abrasions on the boot lid. You can see radiating from the square how hazy this panel is. Really quite something's happened on the boot lid here. It really blew me. Following on from the sander marks in the wings where the bonnet's been sanded, where this panel between the glass and the boot lid has been sanded, look at the glass. Ticks, sander marks, pigtails on the glass. Well done you, whoever did this prep work. Oh, telephone, big scratch. Dual crevices. Alright, as I was saying, marketing call. Quite an interesting one, to be honest, the Eva magazine. Oh, nice splash of lacquer overspray on the near side sill. Runs. So yeah, Philip, not the customer's real name. The vehicle has had some paint, but it's in the right hands now to get it back to as best it possibly can be, albeit this is going to take a good amount of time. Sanding disc just caught the chrome there as well, the bottom and the side. Hazy all the way up the side of the C-pillar, tight to the corner, that's where the ivory comes in to tackle that area. Crappy lacquer lines around the light again. Oh, sanding, 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 sanding. Good work. Good work. Look how ruined that is. Dear. Oh. Something's caught here as well. Lacquer bumper. Oh, solid work. Last but not least, for now, both sides of the car there is these even lacquer lines. It runs from the back of the glass to the side and then goes down. That's all been painted. I'm guessing this is original. If they didn't lose it in the top of the pillar, if you will, they would have had to have gone all the way down to the A pillar, all the way over the top. This panel is one big panel, so they've had to lose it somewhere. This side is the same. Lacquer line connecting the fresh paint against the old paint. To be honest, that'd have been better doing the whole roof. That's one big bastard. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice that I'm infused for this one already. Not even started polishing. It's just painful when you are having to deal with other people's bad workmanship. Because I've got about 6 days of polishing ahead, I'm going to start with the worst areas, or at least this afternoon now. Being bumpers. By the time you finish the rest of the car, just get to the bumpers, which are typically rock hard and usually badly scratched. Enthusiasm is even lower. So tackle them first. Getting the big guns out, just in case. Side skirt cut, very hazy. After the cutting I'm using quite aggressive compound here, 101 on the microfiber pad, which is tearing things up, but it's doing the job. It just now needs the refining later on. This is always awkward though, the little 1 inch section between the door and the trim. And on the trim itself there are clusters of patchy overspray, which you're going to need polishing away anyway. At the minute I'm trying something different. Rather than doing the wing in its entirety up and down on the ramp, the door in its entirety up and down, and the edge work up and down on the ramp, I'm doing the lower portions. So I'm at this height, I've done the side skirt, pleased with that, the chrome. But whilst I'm at this height, I'm doing the lower portion of the wing, the lower portion of the door, and I'm now moving on to the front wing. This, yes, we've seen earlier on, is not pretty, so there's going to be some work there. But the panels, the plastics are really resilient and hard. The panels cut like butter, to be honest. Which means actually there's a lot of refining to be done. It is cutting it up quite a lot. The hybrid that sits on the top ledge here is stuffing the paint up somewhat with the combination I'm choosing to use. But I've got a lot of ground to cover and I'm making some heavy cutting and good progress. Before, after. See all the damage from the cutting marks? It might be worth jumping in to do some test refining on a certain area before we get too far ahead of ourselves. I think, to be honest, I'm going to do the hand polishing in here first. There's not a lot I can do unless it comes out somehow. After a bit of fiddling, a bit of thumbing, this is certainly better. The hazing that was down this left side is improved. There is a fear of burning through, even by hand polishing. This stuff is like liquid. It's like liquid sandpaper. There's a grit, there's a texture. That was clever. If used correctly by hand, it is very efficient. So that's improved. It's going to stay improved. It's not going to be perfect because somebody else has beat me to it, and there's like a masking mark here which I can't shift either. The damage in the top right here, again, it's improved. I can't machine that, or perhaps I could, but again, I've got edges to contend with here. I'm happy. Just above the vent, look here. Really wishy-washy sanding marks. Really strong effort. It's gonna be nice to pull them out later. That's the lower portion done now. I can come down, I suppose. Come down, carry on the wing. Bumper's done. Bit of polishing on the headlights, machine on the hybrid, and some finger polishing for the rim. But check up here, not quite got tight into the top of the lens there, but it's a bit crabby up here still, not quite got tight to the end there, so that needs to be revisited. But otherwise, after a nice simple cleanse, if you will, we're looking sharp. And I do like the little details there. Right, I've just done some refining as a test. Obviously this is not that area, this is the before. This is cut, and this is now refined. Lower the aperture there. Is it perfect? No, to be honest. If you look, let me kill the big light. You can see it's terribly sharp, which is a good thing, compared to perhaps a panel that's yet to be refined. But if you have a hawk eye, this may not be good enough. You can see there are 1, 2, 3. Let me just kill manual focus. There's a few ticks, there's a few bits of damage left behind, which real world conditions outside you're never going to see. But my combination of refining was a white pad and Sonax. Look at them two bits not yet pulled out, which tells me that isn't the combination I need to go for the refining, because the cutting is too heavy. It's leaving that much damage that my chosen refining set wasn't enough to pull that clarity back. Don't get me wrong, we're talking extremes here because the overall is fantastic. So what it might mean is that my white pad and Sonic's refining combination needs to be upped to a yellow pad, perhaps to give more cut, more mechanical cut, which will then hopefully refine down. The near side front wing is complete. I'm about to finish the door. Remember, the lower portions are finished, the top section is done. With the dodgy lacquer line on the bottom of the lens here, I think the worst thing I can do is polish over that. Not for fear of making it worse, but for getting the polish and whiteness stuck in it even worse. It's going to make it more noticeable, so. Taping that up, that's going to protect that from happening. There's no real improvements to be made there, to be honest, anyway. Oh, it's very close quarters back here, but you see the inch of paint, nice and tight, and that's the lacquer line we're seeing is problematic. You can see polishing over that. We do want to get on to the trim anyway. Missing paint and lacquer. It's going to be a touch-up operation there to try and lessen that. Sorry if that was out of focus. Next up for me, I'll do the light lens for the rest of the night. Oh, it's only 5:30. Probably do a bit more, get the filler cap done, and maybe make a start up onto the C-pillar. Day 3, Friday. Haven't been up the C-pillar yet, so all the roof and the A-pillar and the mirror is yet to do, but this side is cut and we're through to the boot lid. Recycle that for later. What do you think? This is why we detail. Although this has been cut, it's still yet to be further improved with the refining, so you can see it's hazy. The edges are cut up from the 3-inch, but we've cleared a good amount of scratch and haze and dullness of the panel there. No doubt you'll see a similar photo to that on Instagram. If you follow WhiteDetails on Instagram, there are some markings in this circle there. You can see there's some ticks, some sender marks left present in that sort of channel. So, so revisit that, start to work across. This side we do have some more deeper marks. But overall, that's a nice comparison. It's a nice visual identifier to say before, after. It's been a bit of a last minute booking, but good news, we've been able to book the wheels in for a full refurb. Being 20-inch split rims, all this comes apart, splits, repolish the lip, OEM factory finish, then the same for the insides, but there's no way these can be coated and polished and sort of enhanced at this stage when the insides are as bad as that. So absolutely makes sense. So the refurbishment really will be the icing on the cake for this car. Fast forward a week and we have the wheels back. Currently work in progress, applying the ceramic protection inside and out. It's a bit better, huh? They're a split rim, so all the bolts come off, the central panel comes out. This is a polished lip, it's all acrylic lacquered powder coat front face. I've got the center caps to treat and polish and sort as well. But information on the refurb can be found in the description to the video below. And if you saw my previous video, which was my 3 Series touring, when I went into more detail about the refurbished stages, then there is a discount code available for the company behind the refurbishments. Again, information can be found down below. Tuesday, it's day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, half a day polishing, day 4 of polishing. It is working out to be a lot of work. Naturally, there's a lot of panels here to navigate. On the rear bumper, I've got the roof and the bonnet to do. That's the cutting then complete. Yay! Working on the ledge here of the bumper with the hybrids. Obviously the 3 inches is going to be too much on there. I do spot there are signs of a blend here. You see the difference in the lacquer. So reluctant to push too hard at the edges and chase too much out of that top deck. There were some bad sander marks on the top of the ledges. You can just about see remains of the tick. 1, 2 ticks there. Lower down, this obviously is before condition. There's a bad scratch there that needs chasing. But also, what do we see here? There's another blend. There's some repair work that is present. So I'm in a situation where I think chasing this too much, I'm putting a lot on the blend. I'm just gonna cut, enhance, go over it, feather it, improve it. I'm aiming for 90 to 95% correction on this one. So that's pretty much where I'm at the minute. I am glad that the bumpers are pretty much done. I've not saved them till last, as I said earlier in the week, that they are a bit of a pain to tackle right at the very end. But there is a lot of work to do with the refining as well. The cutting is not as smooth, it's not as refined as I'd like. So there is some work to be done with the refining. It's not a quick once over. I do need to allow that finishing polish to finish the paint. Right, sometime later, that's the bulk of the bonnet complete. However, it's now time to do the finer tuning. So, okay, bear with me whilst I try and pull the focus. I think we're about there on the edge, just above my fingerprint. I'll put that down to focus the camera. There's remains of some sander marks present on the very, very edges, and that continues here. It's very slight now. So the 3-inch has been through the channel, the middle a bit. Hybrid, lots of hybrid action here. But now actually the hybrid just wants to run 2 or 3 passes perhaps. On the very sides. And just got the roof to tackle after that. 4 days on my own to cut the paint on the Brooklands. Just tidied the unit and preparing for tomorrow, really refining stuff, getting ready. Engine bay has been dressed. The majority of the engine bay is there, in that the engine cover sits and covers the most part. But it's nice to know that under the cover, the surrounds and etc. is looking pretty tidy as well. So come back onto that later. As you can see, I'm reaching for the yellow pads, the Rupes yellow pads, to make the refinement. Ideally, I'd like to go for the white and Sonic's perfect finish, but you'll see the paint is pretty cut up. It's pretty hammered from my various intricate hybrid sections, getting the sander marks in the lower portions, and there's a lot of room for improvement, as I've said about already. So I guess in a sense that is the hard work complete, the cutting, the labour intensive 4 days of aggressive cutting and chasing defects. Now it's the equally as important, if not more important, the refining stage. And to be honest, I've got an hour and a half, 2 hours I'd like to get utilised tonight, so I'm going to start on the bonnet and maybe refine the front end this evening. Right, the refining is finished. That was a long slog, and nearing the end of play Wednesday, and I've been on the interior. It wasn't a bad place to begin with, to be honest. There wasn't a great deal of before and afters available. I've taken a photo of the door card on the driver's side. I'll flash it up on the screen now. So you'll see general griminess, but the video in the interiors are always interiors are always difficult, but I'll be sure to put some snippets and highlights of them later. So next, the wheels are of course away. Not the first time these sort of centre caps have been polished on the channel. You can see they're pretty dull, even under normal lighting. Can we get that on camera? That's a lot better, but I think a couple of hits will actually improve things further. There's a few marks down by my little finger. 2 hits per cap, and I'll show you what they look like once they're refined. That's not looking bad. 10-year-old centre cap. When we get the wheels back, these as well as the exhausts will be coated. Got a friend coming around tonight, so end of day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 6, that's me done. probably something I could and should keep to myself, but I've made the mistake of I've had to go around the whole car again with the hybrid. The 5-inch, 3-inch yellow action for the refining, the polishing, the refining, perfect, not a problem. Did the job as I wanted. The hybrid, the nature of the small pad, the oscillation, it's just churning up the paint a little bit too much in every area that the hybrid has been used. Majority of the front end, the ledges down the side, the wheel arches. The very leading edge of the Aper, because the 3-inch doesn't quite go over there, so you use the hybrid, you use the hybrid here. I use the hybrid a lot, maybe I make too much work for myself. No I don't, that's a lie. But the yellow pad on the hybrid just left these areas hazy. It's all finished and sorted now. I've had to go around the whole car. Lessons to be learned, basically. I went on to the door, 5-inch, 3-inch hybrid, blow it all down, buff it all off. On the rear wing, 5-inch, 3-inch hybrid, blow it all down, buff it all off. You do the whole car. The reason I noticed it was a problem, I've done the toothpickery with a head torch, and I'm thinking, this doesn't look the best, and that doesn't look the best, and I'm thinking, so I get through it. So I guess the real takeout of that is not to get ahead of yourself. Always check your results. And don't just assume. So back to the interior. This has now been cleansed. The leather is sorted. The carpets are done. The dash, the leather on the console, the top leather. The headlining, leather is now waiting on protection. So I'll probably jump into that now. It's 10 to 1 Thursday. Get the leather protection down, all the chrome shiny bits, the piano black sections to polish up, all this, this, and this. And then if I can get the interior glass done by the end of the day, and touch-ups, that leaves paint protection tomorrow, and wheel coatings still yet to go down. Even the bloody filler cap is covered in lacquer overspray. This has been a lot of work. Needs polish inside there. I've been in and around the boot. I've been inside the doors. Never ending. That's a little bit better. Just the glass to go. Oh, they detail the key as well. Bit grubby in there. By the way, there's often comments about Jim. There's lots of huffing and puffing. It is bloody hard work, to be honest. I say so myself. Well, I thought it was more than that. Certainly feels like more than that. 70 hours to complete the WhiteDetails on me Todd, on me own, as a one-man operation. Certainly underestimated that one. A big thanks to PB Powder Coatings for the work on the alloy wheels. Fantastic job as always. Their information can be found in the video description down below, along with a discount code which is WD10 if you're interested in having your rims done for 10% off. So the white detail package, it's a major paint correction detail chasing paintwork perfection, at least 95% defect removal where safe and possible to do so. The vehicle in the early stages, in the early parts of this video, we were introduced to the fact that yeah, it has had a bit of paintwork, so we've got to do the best with what we're given. As well as that, the wheels have been refurbished, they've been treated inside out, the exhausts treated as well with a high temper coating. Full interior treatments, the upgraded ceramic paint protection in the form of Kamikaze Collection Zip Pan Coat. And really that's about it. Doesn't sound a lot, but it certainly eats away into the time. One thing I've learned about the last 9 days is I'm not charging enough this level of work elsewhere. To come near this, let's say down south, is going to be £5,500, £6,000, £7,000 from some operations, which would be nice, of course. I've got a flashing battery light now, so I'm going to wrap up quick. I'm going to stick some music on, record the after footage, get over to the office and do some editing for the weekends. As I say, be sure to find WhiteDetails on Instagram for behind the scenes daily insights and updates. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the WhiteDetails patrons for their continued support, for your continued support. What the next video will be, I am unsure, but take care and see you